Hello, welcome to More Influence and Impact, the show that unlocks the secrets of success for multi-six and seven-figure business owners. I am your host, Celia Faye Meisel, sales growth consultant, and I'm here to help you tap into the wealth of knowledge, expertise, and strategies of our industry's most influential players. Today, we are going to be talking about branding, and I have a brand artisan, Lisa Noble, on. Hello, Lisa.
Hi, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate this.
Yeah, so excited to have you. We were connected through the amazing Deanna Jean,
Anna
who,
Jean.
yeah, shout out Deanna.
Hey, we love her.
We do. And she's been on the show as well.
Mhm.
And I want to introduce you all to Lisa. She is an executive brand artisan working with influential entrepreneurs who are the face of their brand and powerhouses in their industry. And she has a flaunt your brand formula and agency that she works inside of to help her clients really show up boldly, especially when they don't have the time to be the marketers and do all of the things. Because we know as clients get into that multi six and seven figure, being
Mhm.
the marketer and the brand expert is not their zone of genius unless they do what you do.
Yes, and they should not. They don't have the time. They're focusing on their other things.
Absolutely. And so let's start with that. What do you see happens when your clients are scaling and they're growing and they're still trying to do all the marketing and the branding and all of the things and manage all that? What ends up happening to their businesses as a result of trying to do all that?
Well, of course, it can't be consistent because they're touching on this and then they're moving on to the next thing. So it becomes an inconsistent brand message and experience. So that winds up confusing the clients because they're like, "Well, I think I want to hear from her, but I don't really know what she does because over here she's talking about one thing, over here she's talking about another, and then the look and feel is different. It's confusing to me." As well as other things that they're probably supposed to be working on go by the wayside, right? We've
Yeah.
all been there in that scramble where we're like, I know I need to get this done, but I need to get this post out, or it's like, it's something that they really don't have to have their hands in.
Absolutely. And do you find that when clients are growing, like let's say that, they've reached that 500K, they're scaling to a million and, or maybe they've gotten to a million and like their brand is still representative of like the 100K version of their business or the 200K.
Yeah.
Does that get in the way of their growth and their ability to really connect with those high level prospective clients?
Yes, it can, because you're giving you said you're worth a million, you're making the money, but then when they look at your social media channels, when they're looking at your website, it doesn't represent you in that way. It's looking more, like they say, you want to look more like Target than you do Walmart. You know what I'm saying? It's like you really want to go out there, and it's not anybody's fault because we all started that way, right? We all got started and wanted to get the clients, and we may not have put together the right look and feel for who we want to be and who we became. So that's where I come in, where I really can help you to do that, help you to elevate the brand to represent you in the way that is supposed to represent you.
Because in this Canva day and age where
Oh,
people
yeah.
can just get in there and be like, I'm a Canva person, and
Yes.
just get in their Canva and make all their little graphics and
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah.
They feel like I'm the DIY brand person. I can do this.
Right.
And yeah, and that's not even like how they should be spending their time. And even
Right.
having
And
like yeah, go ahead.
well, I was just going to say, and there's way more to it.
Yes.
Besides the graphics and the look and feel, there's way more behind the scenes stuff that needs to happen so that you're targeting that audience. But go ahead. Sorry.
Absolutely. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. And I was just going to say, like, even outsourcing it to an assistant to, like, maybe they're okay at graphics, but like they're not a branding expert.
Right.
And so I have a question. So let's say we have somebody that's gotten to that million mark or they're right around there.
Mhm.
When you rebrand them or you brand them, are you branding them for who they are at that moment? Or are you like looking at who they're becoming and what they're stepping into beyond that?
Definitely. We're looking into the goals. So
Okay.
I start from top down. I want to know what the goals are of your business. Where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself on stages? Do you see yourself moving into bigger rooms? Those type of things we use in our research and looking at competition to see what we need to add to your brand strategy in order for us to really feel that and align your look and feel to who you want to be in the future. We look at you now as well as in the future.
Mm-hmm. And you didn't just like roll up out of bed and decide, I'm going to be a brand artisan. Like you have over 20 years of experience in the digital
I
space.
know I look so young, but yes.
Girl, you do. You do. You do not look like you're old enough to have 20 years of
I
experience.
do. I do. Yeah. I started off, I was like everybody else, I was going to school, but also, your mom says, hey, I want you to get the good job, and I
Yeah.
was in art school at the time. And, people don't necessarily think of, especially back then, I'm older than I look. They don't see art school as being like the good job that you're going to get. You're going to come out and be a graphic artist or things like that. So I went ahead and got the accounting job after being in school for a little while. And lo and behold, they paid for school. So of course I was like, hey, yeah, I want my bachelor's. And I started off coding. I am a web designer by trade.
Oh.
And I started coding and developing websites. And then I was like, HTML, I can take my artistry, thing that I love, and be able to meld it together and create my passion. I can create these beautiful, unique looking websites for my clients. And that's really how I got started in all of it. But then I'm working for corporate companies. I have worked for many corporate companies. And what I found is what they're doing, they have agencies come in and they actually have brand strategy sessions. They go through the customer journey and they do these big photo shoots. And we had to put together like a timeline for the photo shoots. It was such a great experience. I was like, I can do these for my clients.
Uh-huh.
The websites I was making, they were beautiful, but people weren't really drawn to them. They weren't
Mhm.
working well for Google. This is I had, like, my job taught me everything I needed to know on the job. So I do
Yeah.
that for my clients, what I saw them doing, these large agencies.
Wow. So let me just break that down. Let me make sure I heard that correctly.
Yeah.
So you have behind the scenes experience inside of campaigns and projects that these corporations probably spent a
Yes.
lot of money to
Pepsi,
hire these
Coke. Yes.
agencies.
Yes. Definitely.
Pepsi, Coke.
Yep.
Wow.
Pepsi, Coke, Blue Cross Blue Shield. I've worked within these companies and really have seen the behind the scenes, the secrets that I am using for my clients. We do the same thing, but on a different scale.
Yes, and that's amazing because you're taking that and you're not charging the fees that those agencies are to work with the corporation. So your clients are getting real strategy, real
Yes.
strategy. And so who are your clients? Like where are they in their business? What industries are they in?
They're successful, influential entrepreneurs. They're definitely they're like consultants, they're coaches, really entrepreneurs who are in the service-based business are
Mhm.
who I work with, because I know that I can work with them very well because I also know that landscape, as well as have worked with several who are therapists. It just depends on where you are, but they're already successful. So we come in and we really want to show off who they are, so that not only the business comes to the light, but also who they are as a personality. We blend all that into the brands that we create.
All right. Yeah, they're already experienced, and that's our audience for more
Mhm.
influences in impact. They've got proven offers. They've
Yes.
already got a following. They're already doing their thing. They're already successful, and they're in
Mhm.
that always just leveling up and investing in
Yes.
their businesses to go to the next level. And so, walk us through your process because you have a couple ways that you work with clients. So
Mhm.
let's say somebody is really looking for that support. They want to do some branding work. Actually, let's before we get into how you work, let's talk about about like what's going on in their mind and
Mhm.
what's going on inside of their business that can help them to say, oh my gosh, like working with someone like Lisa is the next step for me.
Right. So it may be that they are not feeling that their brand is really resonating with the audience that they're
Okay.
trying to go after. Maybe they put some things out on social media. They're not really getting the engagement that they would like, or they could be pivoting. A lot
Okay.
of times my clients are pivoting. When Deanna and I worked together, she was actually pivoting to do new things and go into bigger rooms.
Yeah.
So she was ready for an elevation, and that's why
Yeah.
she contacted us. Or it could be that they're just ready. They may have already created a brand, but they really just want brand strategy. They want to know how to take this business to the next level. What are some key strategies that will help them do that? You
Mhm.
know, we suggest a lot of things and advise everybody on as a custom strategy. It's not like a cookie cutter, everybody gets the same one. So this is like 3 different ways that they can work with us, or they just may need someone who can just kind of be over the brand and making sure that anything that goes out is on brand. So I also work as the executive brand artisan for some clients.
Oh yeah, so overseeing all of that and making sure that everything is consistent. That's really
Yes.
powerful. And then they can get that consistency built in their company as well. So
Right.
much that you do. And so it's that level up or it's that pivot. And a lot of that has been happening in the last several years. It always happens, but it just seems
Yes.
with COVID and all of the
Mhm.
shifts and people are they're really deciding like I want to be in my genius, I want to be in my
Yes.
excellence. I'm here on this planet for a limited time, and
Mhm.
I'm really here to show up in the way that God designed me to show up, right?
Yes.
And so they're like doing those pivots to really make sure that that message and everything is on point.
Mhm.
um,
Yes, definitely. Passion in the pivot.
I love it. The passion and the pivot. I pivoted.
Yes.
I did. I went from more generalized, and just kind of my message wasn't super clear to, okay, maybe I just need to be more generalized to like super hyper focused
Yes.
and specific. And that really helped my brand and my business take off and in
Mhm.
a big way. And so now let's go into like the ways that you work with clients and that journey that they can take with you. Because one thing I'm curious about when you say brand, are you also talking about their messaging and like the content they're putting out there, or is it more the visuals or both?
Both,
Okay.
because we're kind of unique in the fact that we do the brand strategy, whereas we do my Flaunt Your Brand VIP experience, where we go through and we deep dive in one day. And
Okay.
then we take that information that we have, my agency actually can implement for you.
Okay.
So then we're looking at your messaging, we're creating marketing strategies for you, and actually creating the website that you want out there and doing your social media management. So we don't leave you with your brand identity and be like, go with God. No, we actually,
Trust and pray.
right, no, be in peace. And no, we want you to stay with us because we know we can be your trusted provider, your trusted service provider, and we can actually implement using our brand strategy and keeping it in mind while we're creating your assets for you.
Oh, I love that. And that is so unique because I work with a lot of clients who they're piecemealing their businesses really.
Yes.
Like they've got a social media company here and they've got a brand person here and they've got this there, and I'm always looking for
Mhm.
transformational businesses that can come in and do all of the things that they need in that marketing arena. So I love that you're doing the website, you can do the social media management, you can do the visuals,
Mhm.
and what that does is it creates that consistency that businesses really, really need to
Yes.
show up in that powerful way. And not just like the consistent content, but the consistent aesthetic, right?
Yes, as well as, I really am very involved in my clients, their social lives, as far
Uh-huh.
as, their online presence. And I like that. I've seen my clients grow from, we just did a logo and then we move into creating a website. And then so now they've done a pivot and we're still working with them on their social media presence and all that. It's like, I love to see the transformation and the growth within my clients and to know that what we do actually helps them to engage and move forward with their goals as far as their business. So I'm excited
Mhm.
to do that. I love being that stable agency within their journey. So
Yes, and trusted and
yes,
reliable and trustworthy. And that is so big in today's day and age because you have these bros and these people that, sorry, bros, but it's true. Maybe you're the exception, but not very
yeah,
many.
right,
And it's like they're just taking the money and like, let's go. And they don't really care.
right,
And then whatever the client is getting on the other side, they're not really looking out for the client and having their back. And they're
yeah,
putting out all this money, and then the product that you get in return just isn't like, ooh, wow, I'm not wowed. And
yeah.
usually my clients aren't either.
Yes. And yeah, so we stick with them and become that trusted provider. And I really like doing that so that they don't have to go and search out for a website designer. They don't have to go and search out for someone trusted that will do the social media and go through that, where it's like, do I work with them? Should I work with them? They may have good reviews. They may do the job that I want. You don't have to do that with us. You stick and stay with us.
Yes, yes. And I just want to like sideline here, like that's a part of the mission behind More Influence and Impact is to elevate high integrity businesses
Mhm.
that are doing amazing things, and also to educate our listeners, our clients, because you and I serve a lot of the same clientele,
Yes.
and to really educate them on that hiring process and what they need to be thinking. So I love having these shows to really show them what their options are, from
Mhm.
branding to marketing to operations to HR. So, that's a part of it. And really, again, that piece of like having that A to Z support, having that transformational support and container that you can step into is just the best thing that you can do for your business. Because when you look at
Yes.
companies like, I have a client who I said, you know what? You've hired five, you're looking at your fifth marketing agency in six
Mm,
months.
exactly. Yeah.
How much money is that costing? Like,
Hmm.
what is going on that it's like there's that churn? And it's because the hiring, there's the promises, and then the
Right.
delivery doesn't happen, or expectations aren't met, or they
Yeah.
don't see eye to eye. There's a number of reasons, but you look
Yes.
at that cost that it has on a business to not have that support.
Right. And each one has to get up to speed. They have to learn and get to know you. We'll be there with you from the beginning. So we do all our strategy work, and we have all the competition research that we've done. So we know where the gaps are that you could possibly take advantage of, as well as the marketing research to know, okay, so this is the client that we really want to meet, and
Mm-hmm.
market. And we know the ways that we need to speak to them. We even get
Mm-hmm.
down to the nitty gritty of, okay, this is the message that you actually need to say when you're talking to them in order for them to feel the emotion, because that's what it's about. We're triggering emotions in people. We're looking at, okay, what's the problem? And we may even talk about that in depth, and then, okay, this is our solution. This is
Mm-hmm.
what we have.
Yeah.
This is what we have in order to fix it, and we're the best at it. So yeah, it
Yes.
goes hand in hand, really.
It does. It does. So, one of my favorite questions to ask on this show, especially for branding, is there's that misconception that branding is only for big corporations or big companies. It's too expensive. Like, Lisa
Mhm.
worked with Coca-Cola and Pepsi. How
Yeah.
am I ever going to afford that? Or whatever. And it comes a lot from the direct response world. And I've had some branding experts on that are in direct response. And so they see both sides. But I would love to hear your take on it, because obviously the way you described it, it's very doable, digestible. I get it. But
Yes.
why do people say that it's only for big companies and it's too expensive and too much of a long haul for business owners to be focused on branding?
I think that came from back in the day when advertisements were really expensive. Getting that billboard was expensive. Getting with a big agency, we've all, what was the show? Was it Mad? I can't
Mad
remember.
Men.
Yeah, Mad Men, right? So that showed it was very expensive. It was something that was not an access for small businesses. Now it is. Like,
Yeah.
I can tell you for sure, I have, like I said, gone into the meetings. I've done the branding sessions. I've worked with the personas that they've created, and people like me, agencies like mine, we do the same type of work. So, but
Mhm.
it's within your reach. It's not something that is hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is something that it's accessible because of people in agencies like mine.
Yeah, and it's not something that is it's not something that takes like 3 years or
No.
5 years or 10 years to get traction.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that when you show up in a powerful message with powerful branding and you're clear on who you serve and what you do, it's going
Right.
to get you direct in front of that customer much more easily and much faster. Would you say that?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And like when you're working with us, we're going to take a beat to audit your brand like every quarter so that we can look at what's working, what's the strengths and the weaknesses, what should we change, so then we can do that pivot. We can make those changes on a regular basis, so it's not like 3 years down the line. No, we're going to look at it each quarter to see how we can adjust, because nothing is concrete. When you put
No.
things out there, it needs to have time to figure out if it's actually working. We will go through that process with you, and we'll look at things that we may have put out there and be like, okay, so this is how we can adjust this and make it better. We can change your graphics. We can change your messaging on your social media. And we can look at, okay, even within the audience that you're looking at, maybe we need to go after this subset audience, this demographic, because they're more responsive to the messages that we've actually put out there. So it's a strategy. It's growing with you. It's a living thing. Your brand is a living thing. You can't just put that website up there and just leave it.
It's not set in stone. And I that's such a great point, that so you're doing those quarterly evaluations and tweaks, and that's really important with how quickly our buyers are changing, the buying habits. I mean, from 3 years ago, especially if you're selling online coaching and training, there was the huge COVID boom, and buyers are more educated about online purchasers, whether you're doing B2B or B2C. And so your sales process, because that's my zone of genius, but also your branding and your messaging and how you're showing up and interacting with those clients and those prospective clients, it needs to be reflective of today, not a year ago, not 2 years ago.
Yes, definitely. Our zones of genius definitely work hand in hand, because yes, we have to make changes in order to keep up with the trends. Because things going on in the market as well as in the world can definitely affect what's going on as far as your engagement and things like that. So all those things come into play.
And having a strong brand is so important, especially as a company is growing their team, sales team as well. So with my clients, I actually look at their brand and make sure that their sales reps and they themselves as the founders and the team is really showing up in representation of those brands. Because I find a lot of times, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this, Lisa, and your experience, but like there's a disconnect. It's like the brand's over here. We did the brand words, we did the statements, we did the mission, vision, values, and we're over here. And it's maybe something that the founder brings up from time to time, but there's no like cohesion of everybody being in ownership of that. What is your thoughts on that?
I totally agree. And that's why I always tell my clients, we create style guides for them. So it's not only the visuals in there, but it's also so that they can hand it over the wall to like agencies like yours, so that you already have the look and feel as well as the vibe of the business. Like it has information like your mission and vision, but it also has like your promise to the client, and the actual type of messaging that can be used to speak to that client. We give the personas, we give the style guide, we hand all that to you. So that you also know what we know. And when you're coming up with your, things for your sales and the sales strategy, you have this in mind. So that everything can be consistent. That's what we're about, making sure everything is consistent. So we give you these documents so you can hand them over to your social media manager, your website designer, and your sales team. So they know what you know.
Yes. And they should be, that should be your social media team and your website team, if possible, right?
Yes, definitely.
Great.
Definitely.
So tell our listeners and viewers how to connect with Lisa Noble. If they liked what they heard today, what's the next steps to connect with you? If you have a free gift or a website, tell them where they should go and visit you. And we'll also have all of that in our show notes.
Right. So if you wanted to find out about the the report, like I was saying, the brand audit that we
Mhm.
do, I am offering that to your viewers for
Okay.
free. But usually
Oh,
it's like a $347 value. But I want them to take, so take advantage of this opportunity,
oh.
because then they can also talk to me. So we can go through it and review it so we can see what's going on with the health of your brand. We do this. This is something that we do for our clients like every quarter. And I just want to make sure that you guys are winning.
Yes, that is so generous of you. So where do they go to connect with you about doing that brand audit?
Let me, you know what? I should have had it up.
Well, we'll put the link in the notes.
Yes,
So
it's
we'll have a link to your website. No stress there. We'll
there.
make sure that they get that link.
Yes. Oh, I have it here. So it's vvsol.com, and it is vividbrandaudit.com. I mean,
Okay.
Vivid Brand Audit Report.
Okay, Vivid Brand Audit Report.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will send them the link so they can get on
Yes.
that. And
Definitely.
then on socials, you're on LinkedIn, Facebook, anywhere else?
Yes. LinkedIn, Facebook. I'm on all the platforms, which
Okay.
I also tell you guys to be on, even
Mhm.
Threads, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and you can find me at Vivid Visual Solutions.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Lisa, for the wonderful conversation and all of your expertise. I know I got a lot out of the conversation, and I know the listeners and viewers will as well. So, y'all make sure to connect with Lisa and jump on that amazing opportunity to get that audit. And
Yes.
until next time, this is Celia Faye Meisel with more influence and impact. Bye for
Thank you
now.
so much. Thank you so much for this. I
You're
appreciate it.
welcome.